This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Thursday, August 25th. That's right. 4 months until Christmas Day.
You really honed in on that today. I think it's like 18 Fridays. Not even that.
At least I can make the connection on the 25th. You've counted down. How many weekends of shopping?
I've started to see people have started posting, though. Now I got to find it because, it popped up again. I was waiting for them. Usually they start in July. I thought, it's kind of late that the Friday countdown has started. And it scared me. There was that moment, that heart palpitation of, because I quickly mentioned in the last couple of years, I've started by this point. I have not started.
Thinking about it, like shopping?
I have not started. I bought away? Gifts.
Yeah.
At this point, there would be, so this was last Friday.
Yeah.
So last Friday, 19. So tomorrow, it'll be 18. It will be 18 Fridays until Christmas.
Until Christmas, which falls this year on a Sunday. As a matter of fact, Christmas always feels like Sunday. It's actually on a Sunday this year. We'll work up to the 23rd. So
that'll mean we'll get Monday, Tuesday.
I
think of the holiday.
Monday, Tuesday off. Yeah, true though. Monday, Tuesday off.
Monday, Tuesday.
And what else? Because the sequel for A Christmas Story is going to be out in November.
And I love how they promote it. The long-awaited, much anticipated,
Holy
30
smokes.
years in the making.
Yes.
Sequel to A Christmas Story. Christmas Story, Christmas Story, Christmas. Christmas Story, Christmas, I think.
Is that what they're going to call it?
That's what they're
calling it. This time around, we'll have to get Tom Wallace of Campbell for Christ on the show, who was one of the children in the...
Was he he wasn't the one?
No.
He got his tongue stuck.
No, he was the one though that yelled about it when, it's the cops. He's the kid that yells that line, something like that. Hey, it's the cops, whatever he yells. That's his line. But he's not listed in the cast of the second one.
Yes.
Hope he makes a cameo.
Cast. Could you imagine?
So
we should. We should call him and find out.
We're going to call him.
Let's do it for tomorrow.
Okay, we'll give him a call. He doesn't know it. And maybe we'll forget by then. I hope not.
We'll have so much going on.
We got a lot going on tomorrow. Got a lot going on as we get ready for the Elvis Festival. The
biggest little Elvis Festival.
Exactly.
10th annual.
Big time, yeah. A few years, pandemic, right? So it's good to get back in. And
it is.
For tourism, for Tweed, of course.
Elvis fans are something else.
There is.
They are incredible.
You judged in the Collingwood one, which
I did.
At that time, I don't know if it still is a big one. Do they still do it?
Was a big one.
Yeah.
That's a good question because I don't think they do.
Yeah, it's not.
It was...
Well, we got Tweed. What do we care?
Exactly.
I don't care.
But being in that environment, and I'm gonna assume Tweed is very much the same.
Oh, sure.
I enjoy Elvis. That weekend, you are so enveloped in, you just become.
Like you're immersed.
You can't help becoming. Like we talked about on Galaxy of Games, how many people identify as Elvis professionally.
Yeah.
And it's 400,000.
In the world.
At an Elvis festival, you too. You're not there. You feel like Elvis. You're like, this is amazing. Where's my sequins? It's so awesome. So awesome. There's nothing like it.
Bruno Nesci is a two-time champion in Tweed, has represented Tweed at the championship at Graceland and done very, very well. Joined us on the phone this week to whet your appetite for this weekend. Mark and Charity Mornings here at 95.5 Hits FM. Bruno Nesci, everybody, two-time champ at the Tweed Elvis Festival. Thank you very much. Actually, can we start with that? What is it about Elvis that makes everybody think they can do Elvis?
Elvis is one of those performers that he's just so relatable. So everybody has that little bit of Elvis in them. The moves. Almost everybody dances, even when they think they can't dance. There's that song that everybody taps a toe or shakes a leg.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
The snare is really easy to lift a lip.
Well, and has it always been in you then, Bruno?
Elvis has been in me for the last 24 years, come New Year's.
Wow.
I recently just turned 30 in April. So, I could say that he's been in me for a long time.
Bruno Nessi, two-time champ for the Elvis Tweed Festival that's going on this weekend, finally in person.
Mm-hmm. Now, you say, Bruno, about falling in love with Elvis. It amazes me, his fan base, because people do. They love Elvis. He's been passed for so many years, and yet there's still a love. There's this fan base. It's incredible.
Elvis Presley is someone that's never... Look, theoretically, he physically is gone as of 1977, but his presence in the music world made such a staple in the music world that it's never going to disappear. Like Elvis up until today has been always in the background of movies, TV shows, everyday life. People don't realize that he's been one of those subliminal messages that now the new Elvis movie came out. They revamped a lot of his music for the soundtrack. That is just bringing a younger audience and it's going to live forever. Elvis was so ahead of his time when it came to music.
I was going to ask you what you thought the impact of the movie would be, but I guess check mark. We can we're going to look at that.
I'll tell you this. I've been going to Memphis every year since 2013 for Elvis's anniversary of his death. Let's say in 2013, the age bracket was between 45 and 75, even older.
Okay.
But let's say that was the age bracket. This year, at 80% of the events that I was performing in or I went to, the age bracket was between 16 and 75.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I guess you'd be forgiven to say, well, they were children of parents, so they grew up in a house. But now with social media, they are actively seeking it out.
You know what? For the longest time, as a young, let's say as a young person, as a child, as a kid going through high school, it might not have been cool. Let's say that stereotype of cool to talk about Elvis. But now, because of this movie making such an impact, all the true Elvis fans, the young Elvis fans, have no problem out saying that they're an Elvis fan.
Yeah.
Right. Yep.
Now it's cool to be an Elvis fan. Now Elvis was awesome. He was the king of rock and roll. He was the guy who started it all.
And the music is so accessible, they can get it at their fingertips.
Oh, of course.
They can get all of it. They don't have to rely on old vinyl or hoping to find it at a garage sale. All the music's there.
They don't have to buy an 8-track or a VHS.
Right.
Well, and thanks to festivals like the Tweed Elvis Festival coming up this weekend, they can even see it live.
The Tweed Elvis Festival this weekend Tweed is actually, me being Canadian, is one of my favorite festivals of all time. I had the honor of representing them 2 times at the Ultimate Elvis Contest in Memphis, placing in the top 10 as the only Canadian in the top 10 for both of those years. The Tweed Elvis Festival is just a fun-filled weekend of Elvis music. There's not much more to say because Tweed is a very small town.
Yeah.
It actually has the label as the littlest, biggest Elvis festival.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, it'll balloon this weekend, though.
But this weekend is going to be a great show. We have the Friday night show with Pat Dunn. He is an Ultimate Elvis tribute artist, and he's also a past champion of the Tweed Elvis Festival. So not only he won the Tweed Elvis Festival, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2015, but in 2019, he actually won the Ultimate Elvis Contest, which is the biggest honor of winning an Elvis contest.
Wow.
That's incredible.
And he won it in 2021. And the Saturday night show, as the 2-time champion and the last champion of the Tweed Elvis Festival, I will host my show this Saturday night. Then the Sunday, we have the Sunday Gospel, which we get all the competitors, and I'm the host of that, so I get to bring all the competitors and anybody involved with the festival that's a singer up on stage because Elvis won 3 Grammys in his life, and all 3 were for gospel music.
That's right, yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So we host
That's
a big
incredible.
gospel show, which is great. And then we have the Sunday night finals. The Sunday finals is always the biggest, the crowning moment of the festival, because at this point here, the judges get to crown the 2022 Tweed Elvis Festival champion, who goes down to Memphis for 2023 to represent the biggest little Elvis festival in the world at Graceland.
It's amazing.
No higher honor. And the crowd,
There's no higher honor than to go and represent. You got to think. Now, we got Canadian tribute artists who are competing. We got American. We have some coming from Germany, some coming from the UK, some coming from Norway this year. There's literally competitors. And it's funny because I have the list in front of me. There's guys coming from across the world to compete this year.
Right. So how many of them are there?
I'm saying at this point here, there's about 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like not only he wasn't just huge in North America. Elvis had an international effect. My goodness, that's incredible.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Elvis's name and music and his spirit moved worldwide.
Yeah.
I got a guy who came up to me in Memphis who was from Nigeria, who has a resort in Nigeria, who actually wants to hire me to go to Nigeria because he said the Elvis fans are crazy down there.
Off you go.
Wow.
Go.
And who would have who would have ever thought?
Yeah.
I'm leaving pretty soon for a big trip on the other side of the globe. I'll be in Italy. I will be in Japan. I got so much going on that it made me think, and I'm going, like Thailand. Who would have ever thought Elvis was going to be huge in Thailand and Japan?
Yeah, 70 years after his songs were charting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they told me that the poster went out and was sold out within 3 days.
It's
wow.
Incredible.
Great. Bruno Nessi with the Tweed Elvis Festival. Before we let you go, what is your favorite song to perform?
My favorite song, let's say to perform. I'm not going to say my favorite song, period, because my favorite song changes every day.
Okay, so I was going to say, we're going to do that after a bit. The one that you really get geared up to do, which one's your favorite?
My favorite song, and I get geared up to do, is Elvis Presley's Famous. And I like the 1972 version. So I got to make that clear, because there's many versions of the song, of Suspicious Minds.
Oh,
okay, yeah.
Such a great song. Oh, love it. So good.
And then your overall favorite?
Oh, I can't give you that one. It changes. Today, my overall favorite is Bridge Over Troubled Water.
Oh, okay.
Originally done by Simon and Garfunkel.
Yes.
Right.
But then when Elvis did it, I'm sorry, Simon and Garfunkel, but Elvis did it so much better.
Yeah, so there you go. You're going to be around all weekend. I know we got a lot of fans here that are winning passes, and it's going to be an absolutely fabulous time. And thanks for all your organizations. Continued success, and enjoy your world tour. And good luck on the weekend when they hand out the crown, okay?
For sure, and I'll give you guys a shout-out at my show on the Saturday night.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Again, 400,000 people like Bruno in the world.
21 of them are going to be descending on Tweed to entertain you, for your votes, your applause, and to catch the eye of the judges for the coveted crown that they will hand out on Sunday night. And again, I spoke with His Holiness the Pope, and if you go to the gospel show on the Sunday morning, that counts as church. So go.
And I don't want to say if you've never heard Elvis sing gospel, because I think I don't know anyone who hasn't. His rock and roll career was great,
right?
But gospel, my gosh, incredible. His voice, honestly, was amazing.
If you like the history of pop music, and you don't have to like pop music, I just love history. The roots of rock and roll came out of gospel, came out of country, came out of pop rock and roll. Like it was all one thing. I was part of a discussion once on was Elvis and Buddy Holly, for example, good or bad for country music? And the answer is that they were bad for it, because country music, they sort of kind of came from that, but they created rock and roll, so pulled people away from it. And I always think, well, guys like Buddy Holly, if you listen to it now, his songs were kind of country songs.
Yeah.
Like the Eagles were kind of country songs and then went rock and roll.
Yeah.
Elvis was the same way. So Elvis was primarily, at first anyway, a gospel singer. And then from that, never let it go, then developed this sort
kind of incorporated it.
Sure.
Especially in his later years.
He didn't know what he was inventing. He just knew he had this feeling in him, and he sang those songs. You know, Little Richard didn't know he was inventing rock and roll on the piano. He just went out and did what he felt, and from that came this movement. But, Elvis wasn't like, hey, I think I'll invent rock and roll. It was just, that came out of his gospel roots. And I think he didn't bring it up, and now I'm just thinking of it. That almost authentic feel of who he was is probably what has drawn people to his persona forever. He wasn't a made-up person. That's what Elvis was really, really like. So talented, so driven,
genuine,
so over the top. To have that much talent and charisma, wow.
Have you seen the movie?
Haven't seen the movie yet, no.
Will you?
Probably, yeah.
I'd like to see it. My parents went and saw it, and my mom is an Elvis fan. And so I asked her after she saw it, I said, how did you like it? And her answer really surprised me. She said, I'm like, really? I said, you didn't? She said, no. She said, I really enjoyed it. It wasn't that it wasn't well done. She said it was incredibly well done, and it is a good film. It just left her very sad.
Oh, okay.
After.
Yeah.
Because it does go so deep into his life. It is she said, such an accurate portrayal and history of him, like from his early roots, from his beginning, because he didn't have a very good life.
Nope.
And the struggles he went through. She said it was just, she goes, people were awful to him. Just awful.
Yeah.
and what he struggled with, and now to become this, like, we hold him at such a level and think of him as this superstar, this great success, but there was a lot of things going on in the background, a lot of struggling, a lot of dark things. So such an interesting individual.
It's one of those bar talks where you could sit around and say, what would Elvis think of all of this 50 years after his passing, 70 years after he charted?
Because that's just it. He's such an icon still.
Yeah.
As Bruno said, going to these shows and festivals, what the audience was just 5 years ago to what it is now.
Because of the movie.
There's younger generations coming now and seeing him. He's got 20-somethings. He's got teens following him now. So the generations there's still such a love for him. Yeah. What would he think of that?
Like, what would he think of all of the, I mean, what
Graceland is now.
Yeah.
Like,
Graceland is the third most visited residential household in North America. The White House is number one. I was going to say, probably behind the White House. That's still considered a home. And I think there's something in the Smithsonian that's considered a home. But you just think about, like, Graceland when they bought it, and Priscilla said, okay, we'll open it up for tours. And I think on the first day they printed 250 tickets, and she said, where are we going to find 250 people who want to come into this house? And by 2 minutes after 9, they were all gone.
Yeah.
She had no idea the appetite and the romance that people have with the memory of Elvis. So I can see what your mom says.
Then,
because very quickly.
They are the entire family, though, has really, not just the business side, but I would say almost genuinely, warmly welcomed the fans too. Like, they did open up the house, but I think she realized that, okay, people feel the same way we did about him. Let's share this with them. They have the appreciation too. So they embraced it and really built on it.
So think about what your mom said, and maybe, that's the other thought that I have in my head, is that, we have our own feelings on the legend that is Elvis, of which his real life has nothing to do with it. It's this
persona that we've developed.
This legacy created. That we want to maintain, that it was just so great because it makes us feel good to be a part of it. Not that we want to ignore the fact he had demons or had problems, but when we're shown it, it's like, on the one hand, it's more remarkable he became who he was, considering where he had to come from. But on the other hand, it's like, it's too bad that in the end, that's what claimed him. Those same demons, right?
There are so many stars like that.
Yeah,
from
for
that.
sure.
Like, look at Marilyn Monroe. There's been a resurgence of that. There's been a few movies, but there's a new one now. Jimmy was telling us about it. I think it's on Netflix. Is it just Blonde? Called Blonde?
Blonde, yeah.
And it's supposed to be very dark. I haven't seen it yet. I'd like to, because it does really show that other side. We thought Marilyn Monroe was this movie icon, this movie star, beautiful.
Best life in the world. Yep. Who wouldn't want to be her?
Wanted by millions of men and had some pretty notable affairs, like this very star-studded life, but it was very tragic. Like, there's this other side to it.
Wouldn't have wanted it. I know you think that's crazy. It's an easy thing to say, but boy, when you find out everything behind the scenes.
And how it was viewed then as compared to now.
Yeah.
That's what I find interesting. Like, when we do look back at these artists we've lost and their lives, it's like, okay, well, at the time they were being celebrated, but now you look at them and you think, wow, why was nobody helping them? Why was nobody stepping in and helping and trying to direct them in
What would Marilyn Monroe and Elvis have had to have gone through if they had social media to contend with too?
Gosh.
Yes, it's easier to promote you, but boy, if everybody could be as accessible then as they are now, could they have maintained this pedestal standing?
Yeah, there's that
without too much tabloids following them around with the dirty laundry? Yeah. I've told the story before about Mickey Mantle, who, had an alcohol problem. Yeah. But everybody knew in the Sports Writers Association of America, you don't talk about it.
No.
Mickey Mantle is a hero to kids. And so that part of his life is never, all you talk about is his at-bats and the way he played the game. Everything else is off limits. You tell that to a journalist today, it's like, what, are you kidding me?
No, that's what we're going to talk about.
That's exactly what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So, it's amazing how
it's flipped.
Yeah, some people say too much. It's flipped too much.
Sometimes,
well, okay.
Yeah.
Genie's out of the bottle, though. Social media is not going away, and the public's appetite to want to know everything about everybody's lives but keep their own private will never change now.
Yeah.
So, but get out there this weekend in Tweed. Thanks to all the organizers and the volunteers, and you're going to have a great time. It's going to be a good time.
That conversation kind of.
Yeah. But anyway, that's
yes,
okay.
But yes.
Celebrate it. Celebrate it this
Tweed
weekend.
Elvis Festival.
Mark and Charity, we have a podcast tomorrow morning on the show. We're going to talk about tipflation, which is exactly what you think. Are we tipping more? But are restaurants encouraging us to tip more? And I say yes, and I've got an incident and it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's the recognition that after the pandemic, people wanted to help people more in the service industry, and yet it's really suffering from the great resignation. People don't want to work in the service industry much anymore.
Yeah, and I've got a couple of stories to share too while we were on vacation about that. It was very interesting.
Prices salaries are one reason, but I think treatment by 100%. Customers is a whole other one. We're an angry lot of people now. So we'll have that for you tomorrow morning. Galaxy of Games, we've got your dad joke, back to school. Not too late. Maybe we'll make an Elvis one. Oh, no, we'll keep the back to school one.
I think it's a good one.
Yeah, it's a good one. So I think if Charity says it's a good one, it's a good one.
That's going to keep you up at night now. Now you're going to be thinking, oh, maybe.
Not too corny? No,
I like it.
So we've got that at 7:15 tomorrow.
We're also going to be giving away those tickets to see the Eagles that we've been toting the last couple of weeks, actually giving you the chance to qualify through text in with our keywords as well as listening for the Eagles and getting in through our website. It's part of our Summer Fun series brought to you by Bay Subaru. And I wasn't sure if we'd have more tickets after the Eagles, but I'm told we do.
Yes.
So it's not going to end tomorrow. But if you've qualified over the next couple of weeks, we will announce our winner tomorrow with the Eagles.
So good luck with that. And tomorrow's also the dog day of summer with our friends at Sleep Country. So between 9 and 5, we're giving away a pet bed from Sleep Country every hour.
Every hour.
It's part of the work day tomorrow between 9 and 5. We'll have a sounder each hour. Be caller number 9 through to the studio and win a brand new pet bed from Sleep Country. So we'll get you set for that coming up tomorrow morning. It's the Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. Doing the morning show at 95.5 Hits FM in Belleville. We'll talk to you tomorrow.